Realtors, if you had a rough 2024, you're gonna make a huge mistake this year if you choose the wrong lead generation strategy. I'm gonna tell you the best way to generate leads in 2025, but first, I'm gonna tell you the top 3 worst strategies that you should avoid at all costs. Why am I qualified to do this? I closed 250 deals, made $510,000 in commission after my second year in real estate. Since then, I've gone on to close 800 deals, becoming the #2 agent in the world. If you're a new realtor with no sphere of influence, perhaps in a new state, you're not alone. That was me 5 years ago. Everyone told me it was impossible to do what I did, but I'll show you the lead gen niche I chose, which works better now than it did 5 years ago. I've tried everything since then, so I can confidently tell you what doesn't work, but most importantly, what does work. Do you see videos on social media from all these real estate gurus constantly trying to lure you into their free coaching program? Yeah, even if these real estate messiahs are gonna train you for free, their lead generation niche doesn't even work. Just because something's free doesn't mean you're not spending something significantly more valuable than money on it, your time. You can make more money, but you can never get back your time. I'll give you an example. I just saw an Instagram post from one of these experts saying something completely ridiculous that I know is gonna waste all of your time. Let me read to you what it said. The truth is that agents who quit early were actually crushing it. They just didn't know it. This is an extremely lagged business, meaning that seeds you plant today sometimes takes years to grow. Just because they aren't blooming yet doesn't mean they aren't planted. Every conversation you have is a huge step closer, regardless of your definition of results. What?
What?
I think you would agree the definition of results is making money. I'm taking a wild guess here that these agents this person is talking about followed their free lead generation coaching, but didn't end up closing any deals right now from it. Do you want to be forced to quit real estate to get a job so you could pay your bills? I hope not, because this is absolutely not a lag business. If you do the lead gen system I'm gonna show you, you should be closing deals, bringing in thousands of dollars within your first 30 days. You know it's a bad market, but it works even better because of that. Actually, it's significantly easier to close deals right now if you just switch up your strategy. I'll explain how to do it, but first, I wanna help you avoid these people that have no clue what they're talking about anymore. These expert agents are so out of touch with the reality of what's going on in this real estate market that they can't possibly give you good advice. I bet you don't want someone teaching you that hasn't closed a real estate deal in years, that has no clue what actually works right now. Is it free coaching? I don't think so. They charge $20,000 to speak at events, then make you pay after their free basic coaching is over. I still close deals every week. I have my finger on the pulse where the industry is headed. The core principle behind closing deals as a realtor is leads. You must pick the right lead gen method. If you don't have daily leads coming in that actually convert, then you have nothing. Think about it. If you don't have a warm lead, how on earth can you close a deal? It's impossible, you can't. So that should be your main focus, getting leads. There's a famous quote, "The riches are in the niches." You want to pick a lead gen strategy that works now, then master it. But you have to understand what's happening in the housing market to pick something that works now, not back in 2021. For example, let me break down some cold hard stats for you. In 2024, 50 million Americans moved. 4 million of them bought a house. The other 45 million rented a house. That means there's an 11-to-1 ratio of renters compared to buyers. There's about 1.5 million realtors that all fought over the same measly 4 million buyers last year. If you're wondering why you had a terrible 2024, that is exactly why. There's only enough for you to do 2 home sales per year because of this. Can you live off a $20,000 a year income? Like I said, not all lead gen strategies are created equal, meaning you could be wasting hundreds of hours of your time doing the wrong things. So let me break down the 3 main lead generation niches you should avoid in 2025. At number 1 of the lowest performing ways to generate leads, we have FSBOs. For sale by owner cold calling is the holy grail of do not do it. This lead gen strategy used to be one of the best 5 to 10 years ago, but we're in a completely different ballgame right now. It's not a seller's market anymore. Let me explain if you're just wasting your time if you decide FSBOs is gonna make you any real money right now. But if you don't know what a FSBO means, it's simply cold calling homeowners who are trying to sell their properties without an agent. You might think it's a quick way to grab a new listing. However, it's like driving your car straight into a tornado. Picture this, you get your fresh list of FSBO leads. You're getting excited because you feel hopeful this is actually gonna work. You dial the number, wait for the ring, then a slightly annoyed voice answers. You say, "Hello, John, my name's..." But before you could even get your name out, they instantly yell,
"You're the 50th person who called me today. Stop bothering me."
If you've done a FSBO call, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I remember the first time I tried it, I was super pumped thinking I found a way to get an easy listing. However, each call got worse and worse. By call number 50, I had heard so many insults, so many angry owners hanging up on me that I felt my confidence go from way up here to way down here. FSBO leads are oversaturated. This prospecting strategy has been taught by so many agents that it's too widespread. Sure, if you had started this 10 years ago, yeah, you would have made $1 million a year, but it's just not effective anymore. These calls drain the motivation right out of you when you're putting in all this time to make no money. Even if you get a listing, there's fewer homes being sold right now than the 2008 crash. Nobody wants to buy them. But because of that, there is a strategy that actually works better now than ever before, which I'll explain after I tell you the second worst lead generation strategy you can do: open houses. If you think you can rely on an open house to pull in steady streams of buyers, you're in for a rude awakening. I used to hold open houses back in 2022. I remember how I would get 50 people lined up from the front door all the way out to the street. But now, I'm lucky if I see a handful of people come through. For open houses to work, you need to do 8 or more every single week. That means 2 or 3 on Saturday, 2 or 3 on Sunday, plus a few during the week. That's a crazy amount of time spent setting up signs, driving from house to house, just praying that people are gonna show up. The problem is, most folks who do come, they're just curious neighbors wasting your time. Then the few buyers that actually show up already have an agent. How fun is it when you show someone around, talk to them for like 20 minutes, then all of a sudden they say, "I'll have my agent contact you." But can you even build a $100,000 a year income off of it? Not in this market. You need mass volume of leads to convert clients, then close deals. It's gonna work again one day when it becomes a buyer's market, but certainly not this year. There's a way better strategy that you can use right now that's gonna make you way more money per hour than open houses. But before that, our last lead generation strategy you should avoid at all costs: farming. You have to adapt to thrive in this market. You need hundreds of leads coming in every month. There simply aren't enough conversations to be had when you farm. Remember, it's not a buyer's market or a seller's market anymore. Farming is essentially when you pick a specific area. You get your face out there as much as possible so everyone in those neighborhoods use you as their go-to agent. That takes a ton of time networking, sending out mailers, door knocking, etc. But I know an agent who actually crushed it farming. But it was back in 2021. Everyone in the neighborhood knew her name. If I was looking in that area, I'd scroll through my MLS, her name would pop up on almost every single listing. I was so impressed, I thought I wanted to try this one day. So I did last year. It didn't work at all. I ended up only getting 1 listing out of it all year. You wanna hear something terrible? It doesn't work for her anymore either. I talked to her the other day and she finally admitted it's all but dried up. Why? Because buyers stopped buying. Sellers are pricing their homes way too high. So if you do get the occasional listing, it just sits there making you look worse by the day. But that agent took my advice. She pivoted, she did something that she hadn't done since the beginning of her career. Something she never thought she'd do ever again. Which brings me to the creme de la creme of lead generation in 2025. Drum roll, please. Rentals. I think you should be able to make money right away as a new realtor, especially in any type of housing market. You can easily make $10,000 in your first month doing this. so at least $100,000 this year. By working with renters, it's not gonna take you 15 years of struggling to pay your bills while cutting back on everything. By year 2, you could be making $250,000 a year, just like I did. By year 3, you should be making $500,000 a year. If you do this rental strategy correctly, you can close a deal every single day. Yes, these will be rental deals, but I make $2,000 average commission per deal for 2 hours of work. But it's not just the rentals. You also convert renters into buyers every month. That's how I made millions of dollars in commission by focusing on one lead gen niche that has been criminally overlooked. Your brokers, your mentors, your fellow agents, they all say the same thing to you. Stay away from rentals, they don't pay anything. But guess what? That's the biggest issue you might have with rentals is only making a few $100s to work with a tenant. Let me show you how I solved that problem so you can still make over $100,000 this year. But I'll also show you how to make even more than that, $1 million a year from rentals. Say you only get $300 from the listing agent or the landlord, but you should be charging a $300 transaction fee to the tenant as well. If you do that, that's $600 total commission or $300 an hour. You're gonna love this math. 10 rentals a month equals $6,000 commission. 120 rentals a year equals $72,000 in rental income. But if you're doing 10 rentals a month, you will turn a renter into a buyer every single month. 12 buyers equals $120,000 extra per year. Add that up, now you've just made $192,000 this year, all when you thought a tiny little $300 commission wouldn't even make you a damn thing. But remember how I said you can also make $1 million a year from doing this? In 2 to 3 years from now, when the market switches to a buyer's market, you will convert 30% of your closed renters into buyers. If you can do 300 rentals in that time, that means you will close 90 buyers a year. That's almost $1 million in commission, all from starting at the renter, then going to the buyer. Then your buyers turn into sellers, but that's for another video. By now, I'm sure you're just dying to know exactly how I do this rental strategy. Without further ado, the goal here is to take your rental listings directly from the MLS or apartments.com, then advertise them to pull in hundreds of free leads without spending a dime. I'll break it down by steps. So step 1, you have to get permission to advertise your MLS listing. If your MLS has an Any Broker Advertise feature, you're already set. But if it doesn't, just reach out to the listing agent to ask if you can advertise their rental listing in exchange to bring them a tenant. You could also do this with apartment complexes as well. Now, step 2, post the listings on Facebook Marketplace once you have permission. Take cheap, high quality rental listings from the MLS and post them on platforms like Facebook Marketplace. Step 3, convert leads into clients. When leads start messaging you, the goal is to get that listing rented out. But you also want to set them up on your MLS for other backup properties. Step 4, schedule the showing. Once you have a serious lead, you have to schedule the showing immediately. Step 5, submit a full rental package. Once your client finds a rental they love, don't just submit a half-baked application. Instead, submit a full package. Step number 6, negotiate and finalize the lease. Once the landlord accepts the application, help your client negotiate the move-in cost and the terms. Then review the lease with them before they sign. Finally, step number 7, do the final walkthrough, then collect your commission check. On move-in day, all you have to do is a final walkthrough to make sure that the property is in the same condition. Then, once your client gets the keys, you get your commission check. From there, just rinse and repeat, because most rental commissions are more than just $300. They're around half a month's rent, which means doing just 5 rental deals a month can put you at a 6-figure income. This rental strategy is fast, simple, but also scalable. I did 30 rental deals in a month using this exact method. I suggest you try this on your own first to make sure that it works, so you can start seeing leads coming in. Then, if you want to master it much quicker, check out my program in the description below, richardrantals.com. Do I have something to offer you? Yes, because it's valuable. It actually works, so you aren't gonna be wasting your precious time on nonsense advice from out-of-touch agents. But if you like this video, check out the video above, see how Evelyn made over $80,000 in a few months after trying my rental strategy out.